Listen, my friends, a lot of people like to pretend, yeah, like they are so righteous and they're so good as an excuse for their weakness. You know, a lot of people, yeah, will be like, if people try to run over them or do something to them or whatever, in life in general, in society, a lot of people will be like, oh, well, let me be the good guy and overlook this because it's the right thing to do. Even if it is the right thing to do, a lot of people do these things because they have no choice, because they are afraid to act. They are not doing it from a place of authority. They are doing it from a place of weakness. And they claim weakness to be meekness. There's a big difference. You cannot be meek if you don't have authority. Meekness comes from acting in authority and choosing not to exact authority in a forceful way. Let's put it that way, So when people are talking like that, a lot of people, especially to be honest, Christians, especially regarding the things of the world. Well, we're not called to politics. We're not called to this. We're not called to that. We're not called to this. I'm like, what are you talking about? Your life as a Christian involves everything around you, So, hey man, it's just how I feel. You people need to understand it on an individual level in whatever is going on in your life, because you need to check yourself. I have to check myself, oftentimes in my life where if I want to overlook something, I ask myself these days, am I overlooking it because I believe it's the right thing to overlook it, or it's convenient to overlook it and pretend that it does not exist? And it does not sit right with me if I ever feel like I'm doing something like that. So I can't do that. God forbid. And I don't think it's anything to encourage people to do. You need to face whatever it is that you're dealing with. It's just like I was talking to my old man the other day, and I was telling him about when I was young and I got into a lot of fights. And I used to think growing up, because blessed are the peacemakers, and I didn't take that in the right context. That is the truth. But I used to feel like, so was I wrong for all the times I was fighting and all that? And I realized no, because I had to face those moments to get to a point where, listen, I know how to hold my own. If I choose to ignore a situation, I'm choosing to ignore it because I know that it's beneficial to ignore it on a grander scale, not because I'm scared. But there's a difference between fear and meekness. Weakness and meekness, as I call it. Jesus was the most meek person. And I really hope to God that God gives us more insight, myself and anyone who listens to this and beyond, more insight into how meek Jesus was. Imagine even coming here in human form. God coming here in human form, allowing himself to be tortured and people to scorn him and all the insults he had to face, the death he went through, knowing he was going to go through that death. When you're going to get when you're in a difficult situation and you can anticipate it, it makes it even worse in your mind. And you know what is going to happen, man. And it's real. And everyone runs away from you, betrays, not deliberately, but runs away from you in your darkest hour. His disciples fled. Jesus was meek because in that moment he could have exacted his authority, but yet he subdued himself to God. I cannot even imagine that, man. What that really means. But anyways, take from that example, man. If Jesus will go to that level of meekness for us, we need to stand up in authority to fight for what is right and exact meekness when we truly have authority. And that's my point today. Blessings as always.